We'll now hear from the chairman of the Subcommittee on Transportation, Mr. Gimenez from Florida, for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My first question is to Secretary Mayorkas. Secretary Mayorkas, when President Biden first came into office, one of the first things he did is he changed all the Trump-era policies related to the southern border. Did you agree with those changes?
Congressman,
That's a yes or no answer, sir, please. I don't have much time. Did you agree with them or not?
Congressman, he changed some of the policies, and I do agree with those changes.
Okay, and subsequent to that, have you had a number of conversations with the president when you're making substantive changes or implementing new policies at the border? Have you relayed that to the president, and the president, has he said that he's in agreement with your recommendations, or has he made recommendations to you and said, or actually given you order and said, no, I want to do this? Do you agree with everything, that all the policies that have been implemented since you've been the Secretary of Homeland Security?
Congressman, I'm not going to get into the specifics of my conversations with the president, but please rest.
That's fair enough. I'm going to reclaim my time. Thank you very much. So apparently, I don't know if you talked to the president or not. Fair enough. So either you do things on your own or you do things in consultation with the president. You're still part of his administration. There's a lot been said about the funding of DHS. And so in fiscal year 2020, there were 458,000 encounters at the border. In fiscal year 2021, there was 1,734,686 encounters at the border. That's a 400% increase. There was no really significant change in the funding. So this whole narrative that somehow funding is the issue, funding's not the issue. The issue is policy. And the policies that have been implemented by this administration and your department in particular, have led to this catastrophic failure of our immigration in the United States, where you have a 400% increase in the number of encounters at the border with the same amount of money, both in fiscal year 20 and 21. Now, in fiscal year 22, things got even worse. There are 2.378 million encounters at the border. And we also know there's been a significant increase in the number of gotaways to the point where almost 2 million people are in this country that we haven't the faintest idea who they are. We don't know where they came from. We don't know where they are, and we don't know why they're here. Again, Director Wray, does that pose a threat to the security of the United States? The fact that there's 2 million people here, we don't know who they are, why they're here, what they're doing here. Have you got any worries about that?
Well, certainly the population that you're talking about is a source of concern for us.
All right, one other question for you, Director Wray. You say that the FBI, you work on detecting threats, et cetera, to the United States and the homeland. Exactly why are you doing that? What is the purpose of detecting threats and mitigating threats to the homeland?
Well, our mission is to protect the American people and uphold the Constitution.
Very good. Protecting the American people. That's exactly right. Do you know how many people, the #1 terrorist organization that has killed the most people in the United States, you know what that is?
That would be Al-Qaeda.
And how many people have they killed? Americans?
Well, in the neighborhood of 3,000.
3,000. Okay. Across the border, there's the Mexican cartels. They are pumping fentanyl into the United States. You know how many people they've killed?
I don't have that number, but it's eye-popping.
It is eye-popping. And so, again, the failure at the border, the failure of us taking significant action, not only to stop the flow of illegal immigrants, and a lot of them, we don't even know who they are, that it poses a threat to the United States. The actual threat of the cartels that are not 7,000 miles away, they're 20 miles away, they're 5 miles away on the other side of the border, that are killing tens of thousands of Americans every year, and we do nothing about it. Nothing. They're right there. We know who they are, we know where they're operating, and we do nothing about it. That is a dereliction of duty Mr. Chairman. And with that, I got one more. If you give me one more thing. You know, real quick, okay? Guns, planes, missiles, personnel, ships, boats, assassins. They all have one thing in common. Ms. Abizaid, do you know what that is? It's money. Money. That's what they have in common. So I'd like to know why the Secretary Blinken signed off a waiver for Iraq to purchase electricity from Iran, which will give them $10 billion in revenue. And that's a rhetorical question. Thank you. I
Okay, the
yield back.
gentleman yields.